Hello, this is Algebra 2. We are in Chapter 8, Section 4. This is page 2 of the notes. At the top here we have Example 2, multiplying rational expressions. You have this rational expression that's multiplied, fractions of polynomials. So, first of all, you're just so much better off if you factor. So, the numerator of the first one has a common 2x that can factor out, leaving us with x plus 2. Boom. The denominator of the first polynomial factors into x minus 6 times x plus 2. Boom, boom. Over on the right fraction, that numerator factors into x minus 3 times x minus 6. And then the denominator, well, there's really nothing to do. It's just 2x. Boom, boom. Now, it says multiply numerator and denominator. So now let's not get too excited here. All we're going to do is take the first numerator and multiply it by the second numerator. And then for the denominator, take the first denominator . 2 didn't look very good. And multiply it by the second denominator. That's it. Now, divide out common factors. So, I'm going to do that here in blue. We have an x in common. We have a 2 in common. And we have an x plus 2 in common. And an x minus 6 in common. Boom, 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 boom. The only thing left is that lonely x minus 3. That's it. That there, ladies and gentlemen, example 2. Now, let's move on to the first checkpoint. All right. I think you know the drill by now. You could just copy this, or you can give yourself a chance to learn by pausing this, trying it yourself, and seeing how well you did. I'll give you a few seconds to pause this. Okay, I did both of them for you to check. Nothing too terribly exciting here. You're factoring polynomials. You're canceling factors that are common in the numerator and denominator. And you're writing what's left over. That's exactly what's happening in checkpoint 1. Checkpoint 2 is also highly similar. You're factoring polynomials. Then you're writing them all together as one big polynomial sandwich, maybe like a long submarine sandwich, perhaps. Then you're canceling out the things that are in common. Leaves you with, in this case, 6x over x minus 8. Now let's go down to example 3. Now I want to be very careful about example 3. It has a really good point in it, which is why I'm including it. It also includes some pretty hard factoring that will not be expected of you. So all the factoring you've seen before, that should be entirely reasonable for you to do. But there is something happening here that I am not going to be asking you to do. But at the same time, the pattern of what's going on is something that I need you to be aware of. So, if you're multiplying a rational expression, that means a fraction of polynomials, by a polynomial, you're supposed to write the polynomial as a rational expression. Well, that's actually a lot less exciting than you might think. It's x squared minus x plus 1 over 1. And that's, frankly, unexciting entirely. So then we're talking about the next piece, which we need to factor. And you might look at this. Well, x minus 4 is pretty boring. There's nothing to do. So x minus 4. And then that other numerator, x squared minus x plus 1, you might try a couple times, but then you'd probably pretty quickly decide that it's a prime polynomial. It's not going to factor one way or another, no matter how nicely you ask it. And then you need to worry about the denominator, and this is where it gets more interesting than I want it to be for you. X cubed plus 1 does factor. It's x plus 1 times x squared minus x plus 1. This is the sum of cubes pattern. It was in an earlier chapter that had factoring. It is not expected that you can factor sum of cubes. So, again, I don't need, if you're freaking out about how that denominator factored, don't worry about that exactly. But the general pattern about what's going on otherwise is worth our time. Let's cancel common factors. It's okay if it has 3 terms instead of 2. They're exactly the same. Leaves us with x minus 4 divided by x plus 1. Boom, boom, boom. That is the end of the second page of the notes. Thank you for watching.